She explains why this was a challenge for the firefighters.
Tonight, that fire is finally knocked down, but it's a long road ahead for individuals storing items at this London storage facility. You can see behind me that stack of items that were burned in this 3-alarm fire.
Fire doesn't show any mercy. It just moves on, and it moves quickly. And
this cell phone video was captured in the moment shortly after all 16 units at the storage facility on East Central Road in London went up in flames.
I mean, you could see the flames at the top of the roof just coming up over.
Cheryl Reynolds says she was taking her dog out when she saw the first truck arrive.
I saw the smoke, and then one by one the trucks started showing up.
In all, as many as 75 firefighters were on scene to knock down the blaze, at one point even sawing a hole in the ceiling to fight the fire. And while investigators still have not determined a cause, they did say they had obstacles fighting the fire.
We don't know exactly what's in the storage unit. We did have 3 small explosions at the beginning. The only thing we can attribute those to are some propane tanks or things like that.
In addition to battling the unknowns of the storage units, they also had to battle the heat. So members of this community stepped up, delivering packages of Gatorade as well as packs of bottled water.
And as you know, it's very hot. So as the people are working through this, we're trying to get them cycled out, get them into rehab, and get them back into work.
Those first responders spent several hours on scene making sure all of those hot spots were cooled down. That London fire chief tells me a couple of his firefighters were actually treated on scene for heat-related injuries. In London, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
Thanks. We'll stay on the weather theme because right now close to 2,000 AEP customers are without their air conditioning due to a power outage in the Grandview Heights area. 10 TV Cierra Johnson joins us now from Grandview with more on when the power is expected to be restored and also efforts throughout the day, Cierra, to stay safe in this heat.
Yeah, Scott, I can tell you firsthand, all day has really been a scorcher, and today, right now, is no exception. It's still pretty oppressive. We've seen several AEP trucks go up and down this road. That's because nearly 2,000 customers are without power. We've had a chance to talk to AEP, and they tell us it was an issue with a substation that led to that outage. You can see these carryouts and these restaurants that are typically open. Right now, we're closed, but AEP tells us they are working to transfer that power. And again, throughout the day, people have been working to beat the heat. As the summer heats up, Central Ohioans are doing what they can to stay cool.
With a 110-degree heat index, it's difficult, but we assumed that the only answer was just a massive ton of water.
Not just to drink, but also for
fun. I love water and having water balloon fights.
This water gun fight was an idea that started online, and one by one, fans showed up ready to take fire and stay cool in the hours before the Crew SC game.
I think we proved with Save the Crew that we would stop at nothing to not just save our team, but enjoy our team, and here we are again.
And while some were enjoying the heat, others are working to help those who had a little too much of it.
We get a lot of heat-related emergencies.
Captain James Beckett of the Grandview Fire Department says his team has seen an increase in runs for heat-related illness.
Especially with the at-risk groups, the young infants as well as the elderly.
He says the best piece of advice, check on members of those vulnerable populations, seek shelter in cool areas, and of course, stay hydrated.
Even if you do stay hydrated, the heat's just that bad right now. Besides water, you also need to use the electrolytes to replenish.
And right now you can see we're at the intersection of Grandview and 3rd. Just to note, you're going to want to treat those intersections as a three-way stop because so many of those lights are out. AEP is working to transfer those customers to other power lines. We're hearing power should be restored within 2 to 3 hours. So if you're impacted by this, well, everyone actually in Central Ohio, just be sure to keep drinking those liquids and try your best to stay cool. We're live in Grandview. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
The Columbus Crew SC is playing a home game today. They are working to make sure that you fans stay cool and stay hydrated at Moffrey Stadium. 10 TV Cierra Johnson is there with efforts to keep cool in this hot stuff. Cierra.
Yeah, Scott, these fans were able to save the crew, and after it was saved, they vowed that they would support them, rain or shine. So take a look at this. These crew fans are doing something a little different to stay cool and these upper 90-degree temperatures. They're having a huge water gun fight. You can see there's actually a truck with some type of a pool situation up there. Any and everything to stay cool. Now, the fun's been going on for about an hour, and the fans tell me it was pitched on the Facebook page, and it spread like wildfire. Now, these fans say this is the first time, to their knowledge, that people have taken part in this water gun fight. And some of the tailgaters I spoke to say this is just really part of being a Crew SC fan.
I would say that we come here, and at some point during the tailgate we hate our lives. It's either too cold or it's too hot. At some point we'd like a game where the temperature is right in between dying from heat or dying from exposure.
And you can see even the littlest of fans are getting involved behind me. But we did have a chance to speak with a member of the Grandview Fire Department who says it's not all fun and games. These temperatures can be extremely dangerous for those extremely young or extremely old. We'll hear from him tonight at 11. But right now, these fans doing their best to stay cool. We are live at Mob Frey Stadium. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
Tough to beat a water gun fight. All right, Sierra, thank you. Those high temperatures mean busy pools. So we told you earlier at 5 p.m. about free pools. But let's just say if you need a little bit more action, Zumbizi Bay's doors are wide open too. Cierra Johnson is at the Columbus Zoo with what lifeguards are doing there to keep people safe. Sierra.
Yeah, Scott, their doors are wide open, and this place is packed with everyone wanting to cool off. But we wanted to take a closer look into what people here are doing at Zumbizi Bay to keep themselves safe. So we have Mr. John Gannon. He is the general manager of Zumbizi Bay. First question, what should people coming to Zumbizi Bay, just what is the first thing they should keep in their mind as they make that trip?
The first thing they should do is the day before they come and the night before, they need to drink plenty of fluids. Absolutely. Don't wait till you're thirsty to drink the water. You drink it beforehand. And then the day of, when you're sweating out everything, you want to replace that with a sports drink, if possible, water if not.
Is there anything else they should bring when they're coming? I mean, are they allowed to bring water?
They are. Our food and beverage policy is one small snack item and one beverage in a non-glass container. But on these days when we're above 90, they can bring in water, and we're not going to stop anybody from that. We do want to encourage guests to drink water before, during, and after their visit to Zumbizi Bay.
Definitely important. And then the guests aren't the only ones enjoying their time here. I mean, the lifeguards, they have a really important job to do. How are you all making sure that the lifeguards are hydrated and safe?
We have rotations. Lifeguards never are in any particular position for very long. So they're rotating every 30 minutes, and then we give them frequent breaks. Most of the lifeguards are under umbrellas, so they're in shade most of the time. Now, occasionally guards are walking outside the shade, but most of the time they're in shade, frequent breaks, and plenty of rotations. We also have lots of water and Gatorade for them as well.
And then I guess just lastly, I mean, if there is a medical emergency, if someone feels themselves getting overheated, how is that handled here at Zumbizi Bay?
We do have an EMS staff here at Zumbizi Bay every day. We have a first aid station that is air conditioned, so we encourage any guest that's feeling a little lightheaded to make their way to our EMS, or we can take them there if need be. It's air conditioned, we'll get fluids in them, and then the EMS team can assess them. If it's extremely significant, then maybe they need to go somewhere else other than here. But most people just need to get out of the sun. They need to get some fluids in their body and get into a cool place.
All very, very important information just for those who are at home really wanting to escape the heat. What are your hours today and this weekend?
Well, tonight we have dive-in movies. In the wave pool, we have Jaws playing tonight until 11 o'clock. You can come out for $15 for the nighttime Jaws movie. So we're open till 11 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow we're open from 10:30 until 8 o'clock, same on Sunday, 10:30 to 8. So come on out.
Sounds good. I think I know where I'm heading this weekend. Thank you again so much for your time.
Sarah.
For anyone wanting to cool off, Zumbizi Bay is more than likely the best place in Central Ohio to make that happen. We're live at Zumbizi Bay. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
All right, Sierra, thank you. For a second day in a row, people in the Grandview area are experiencing a power outage as we are dealing with this heat wave. 10 TV Cierra Johnson joins us now from Grandview with more on what is causing them. Sierra.
Yeah, Scott, it's almost deja vu. Last night in our 11 o'clock newscast, I was at this exact same intersection, the intersection of Grandview and 3rd Avenue, discussing a power outage that impacted as many as 1,800 AEP customers, and it's the same situation today. And we've just learned power here in Grandview Heights in the north part of Columbus will not be restored until 9 p.m. You can see some of those parking spots are empty because the power is out, and this is typically a busy time for these Grandview Heights businesses. Now, according to AEP, this latest outage began around 2:30. I mentioned it's impacting as many as 1,800 people. AEP tells us this outage from both last night and today both stem from issues at the same station on Hess Street, but they don't believe the two are connected. Business owners here in Grandview are telling me without power for the second time this weekend, it's been really difficult. Dinner crowds were impacted last night, and now business owners say they're afraid they may have to turn their customers away for the second night.
Last night was the last day of restaurant week, so we did have a lot of reservations that we couldn't fulfill last night. So we did lose a lot of business then, and then obviously right now through, it's almost getting into our dinner shift on a Sunday, which is a real good shift for us. So no patrons, and with this heat, it's unbearable.
And again, we have just learned that the power will not be restored in this area until about 9 o'clock. So do what you can to remain cool. Remember to drink those liquids, and if you can, go to somewhere air conditioned. And it's also extremely important to note that with the lights being out, you need to treat those intersections as four-way stops. We've seen some pretty close calls here at Grandview and 3rd. So again, do what you can to stay safe, and also remember to treat those stops as a four-way stop. We're live in Grandview. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
Sierra, some good advice out there. Thank you. 10 TV Cierra Johnson spoke to a local immigration attorney about this story. Sierra, what'd you find out?
Well, Scott, the raids which started this morning, as you mentioned, focusing on those 9 major metropolitan cities across the country. Although Columbus isn't listed among those cities, local immigration attorneys tell me those raids have sparked concern locally among members of the immigrant communities. I sat down with Ileana Yvette Vasquez, a local immigration attorney, who tells me many living here in Central Ohio are calling her office for advice on what to do should ICE agents decide to include Columbus in that major sweep. She says although we're not included in that sweep, we have been target of raids in the past. She says the sweeps that started today focus on specific groups of people, including undocumented immigrant families that the government says have missed court appearances or have been issued court order removals from the U.S. and have not left.
I have consultations on a regular basis, and one of the main questions is always, what about these immigration raids? Am I a target? And then I have to have that conversation. Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have that? And for the most part, it's no. And then my follow-up advice is, you're not a target, but if you happen to find yourself in that situation, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do to be prepared.
That attorney says several local organizations are stepping up to ease concerns of those here locally working to navigate that complex and often time-consuming immigration process. You'll hear more on those efforts tonight at 11. Scott?
All right, Sierra, thank you.